Bonjour, everyone. Hi, this is Neshi Lokotz. Welcome to Star Nations Organization's main fan page where I do this daily live stream or nearly every day live stream. And it's all about the card draw, the divination or the oracle card that's drawn in the morning. Um, we talk about the essence of the card and what information is meant for us today through that card. And it sparks a spiritual conversation, which I just love. I have to admit, I love it. And to hang out with the Star Nations community in the afternoon. Here in Tomah, Wisconsin, some people it's evening for them, and others it's earlier in the day. So, but to be together and to chat about spiritual conversations, right? Yeah, it's good stuff. So today is Tuesday, February 26th. Yeah, we just got a couple more days before the end of February. Imagine. We started using the new card deck that I've been using now since February 1st. And so we've almost had 28 days of the Druid Oracle deck. We've learned a lot, haven't we? I have. So before we get rolling with the information, I am going to take my phone and I'm going to like and share the live stream. And I would invite you to do the same, to share it and like it. And the reason being is that we stay in the newsfeed a little bit more, right? And when we do that, those souls who are searching for spiritual information, it's easier to find us. It's easier because you know what it's like. We get so inundated with information, period. But in Facebook, it's things can get posted, and in a few minutes they're buried by other information. So I am going to find our live stream. Here we are, and I'm going to like it, and I'm going to share it, and I'm sharing it over to my news feed, and so that my friends know that I'm live streaming, and to please join me. There we go. There. It's done. Yeah, and for those of you who shared, thank you so much. You might hear George in the background. George is our 7-month-old Goldador. That's a golden retriever. His dad is a white Labrador. I thought he was yellow, but he's a white Labrador. And so George is up here with me in the meditation room where we're broadcasting from. I was going to move back up to the Star Nations Academy, but we're getting more snow. So I thought I'll just stay put for another day. But you might hear George in the background. Yeah. Hopefully he'll fall asleep. His job when he comes up here with me is to hold the energy for us, to help hold the energy. And he does that by taking a nap sometimes. Yeah. So I'm going to see what's going on in the chat room before we get started with the card. And we have a message here from Deborah Clark Clemens. She says, I will be excited to join you once I'm retired, but one more month. Well, yay, Deborah. Yay. I remember you being here last October for a class and chatting with us about the possibility, right? And here you are, you're actually doing it. So congratulations. Going to throw a party in March? ? I don't live that far from you. Julie's here, Julie Shumway Hill. Hello, Julie. It's always good to have you in the chat. And it looks like our social media manager, Stephanie Williams, is hard at work. She is posting a whole bunch of stuff for us in the comments. And Rob is saying, is it a full deck? Yes, indeed, it is. We're playing with a full deck. As a euphemism, right? All right, scrolling. Hey, Dawn's here too. Dawn Nelson. Hello, Dawn. Good afternoon to you too. Good to have you here in the chat. Scrolling. We're really busy here at the Star Nations. I know we are, but it's not until you see it in writing and posted and think, holy cats, that's a lot. And Stephanie, of course, is here. Good afternoon. Thank you for doing all that posting, Stephanie. Appreciate it. Like I said, sometimes, I know that we have lots going on, but it's not until you actually see it all in one place and getting posted that you think, oh my God, we're really busy. We really are. We really are. So, how many people missed seeing Polly Joe this morning? It's our usual Tuesday show lineup, and Polly Joe usually kicks us off. Sometimes it's Mervyn Kelly when his show is rolling around, which is next Tuesday. But Polly Joe, she lives out east, and yeah, they're having, for those who live here in the Midwest, right? Over the weekend, we had a snowstorm and wind and cold and lots of people without power, and the roads were closed, and yeah, it was big stuff. Well, it's out east now, and that's one of the reasons why Polly Joe canceled her live stream for noon Eastern time, is because they didn't have electricity until mid morning this morning, and the internet was kind of spotty, and so we were talking about it last night, and I encouraged her to take some time off to rest because she works really hard. And I said, maybe Spirit's trying to tell you something here, and rather than ignoring it or pushing through it, maybe heeding the signs and taking tomorrow and to take it easy, right? So I hope she did. I hope she took some naps and watched some funny movies, or did something fun, right? Because I know they're not going to go anywhere. Their roads are horrible, and so yeah. So we kind of missed her this morning, but good on her that she took some time to do some self-care, right? Can't blame her for that, not one little bit. Hey, Kimberly's here. She says, hi, Neshi, loving all your live shows. You're all doing amazing work. Well, thank you, Kimberly, and thank you so much for joining us as often as you can, and for all the support that you give to Star Nations and to the live stream show hosts, and and I also know that you've been that the magazine that I gifted you, I know that it's kind of been made the rounds through your friends, and I appreciate that too, to get people to get to know us a little bit better, right? So thank you for that. Let's see. There was something else I was going to share with you. Oh, that's it. Now, I know that Stephanie posted a whole bunch of stuff in the comments, and please read through them. I wanted to let you know that we do have classes coming up. I finally pulled together the promotions for them. Yay. And then once I got the promotions created, and handing off to Julie Shumway Hill, who is our Academy manager, and so that she could do her bit with it. And then when she got done with that, then I was able to hand it off to Elf Elm, who does our website for us, and also to Stephanie, who is doing the rounds on social media to let everybody know that, of course, Total Tarot Immersion with Julie Hedges, May 31st to June 2nd here at Toma, Star Nations Academy. It's going to be hands-on. So those of you who really want to start your journey with the tarot, or maybe deepen your journey with the tarot, Julie's saying bring your cards with you. It's going to be hands-on, literally. So hopefully you can join us for Julie's class coming up at the end of May. Let's see. And then there is Animal Communication Level 1 with Leslie Serenesi. This is going to be her debut here. It's first time teaching at Star Nations Academy. And so she's going to be teaching the very basics of animal communications so that you can communicate with your own pets, or your friends and family's pets, right? And she's also including how to connect with a pet that has crossed over. Yeah, I know. That's going to be pretty big. So some of you saw my post earlier about one of my furry girls, my furry girl, Ginger. She was our golden retriever. She walked on about 4.5 years ago. And it's a picture of her that was posted, I think, like 8 years ago. And to see her face, because it just pops up, it's not like I planned on it, right? Facebook picked out this picture and she popped up in my newsfeed. Yeah, that was a little bit of a surprise this morning. It's like, oh my gosh, Ginger's looking right at me. And I still miss her, although George is here and he does fill that place in my heart where dog sits, right? Yeah. Yeah. But to see Ginger's face and her smile, it was really something. And so learning how to communicate with pets who have walked on. Now, Leslie's class is April 27th and 28th. Okay. And then I have a class coming up next month. I do. The weekend of March 22nd. I'm calling it the Journey of Remembering. And it's all about awakening your heart, your illuminated heart, actually. But it has more to do with remembering what it's like to live your life from your heart. And when we do that, when we awaken those memories, we can also activate the Merkaba in a natural way from the heart. And so that is the reason why I'm holding that class, is to activate Merkabas. So if you want to join me, just check out the website. All the details are there. All the registration information is there if you're interested. Yeah. Yeah. And hey, Pat's here too. Good afternoon, Pat. Good to have you here. Let's see. We shared, so I'm going to put my phone to the side here. And when I was doing the card draw this morning, I had my cup of coffee, and George went outside, and so it was kind of quiet for a moment. And I took the cards out. I was talking to my spiritual team, right? And I was talking to them. I said, so what's the energy today that's most important for us to know about for our highest good? And since it's a group card for the highest good of all, right? And I asked, please show me. And this is who came. Now, we've had Raven before. Earlier this month, Raven was, I don't know, maybe the second or third card that came. Raven. And we had a grand discussion about Raven. And in the background, you can kind of see a hill with a pathway going up the hill. And this morning when I was looking at this card, I was thinking about that old saying is that there's many paths up the mountain, right? Meaning that there are so many options to reach the top, to reach where you're intending to go. And many times that's linked to our ascension, right? And there's many paths to it, many paths. Depending on which one feels good to you, that's the one you take. And I have to say that this illustrator, who is Bill Worthington, there's a lot of trees that it looks like it's in the fall or maybe early spring. Doesn't have any green leaves on it. There's a river, or at least of water, in front of the raven. Now, Leslie Serenesi wrote an article about, I think it was crow. Maybe it was raven. No, it was raven. And she actually had a discussion with a raven and how much they prefer not to be called a crow because their crows are their cousins. It was a good article. And this raven happens to be sitting on a branch. So he's grounded. He's not in flight. Raven. So how many people in the chat have raven for a power animal or a totem? I do have a raven who is a power animal. And that is an ally that when I do soul traveling, right, going from one dimension to another, that he flies with me. And so, when we do those kinds of journeys, we're never alone. We have a whole entourage that goes with us from our spiritual team. And so I have Raven who flies with me, and I'm kind of looking over to my shoulder over here, is because there's a soul portrait that was done by Lisa Owen back in 2005 of me, and shows the eyes of the raven that flies with me. Yeah. Rob is saying, no, but crow. Oh, good. Okay. Yeah, you see them a lot, right? George. George is a happy boy. He's sleeping, he's dreaming, and his tail is wagging. Hey, Valerie's here. Hello, Valerie. Good to have you here. And Laura's saying, Raven, yes. Yeah. Yeah, and you do, don't you, Rob? Rob is a musician, and he plays guitar. A couple of different kinds of guitars, I think, isn't it, Rob? And he plays at a club called The Raven. I think. Is it The Raven or is it The Crow? I forget. Tell us, okay? And don't you have a gig coming up soon, too? Why don't you tell us a little bit about that in the comments, too, okay? For those people who would be living nearby or nearer to you, that they could actually maybe come and listen to you. So with the crow, with the raven, the Gaelic word for raven is Bran, Bran, Bran. Yeah. And I have to say, this illustrator, looking at when you're doing something that has this much black in it and trying to get the detail and the work in there, that can be a very difficult task. But I think, just look at the detail on the feathers. I have to hand it to that Bill Worthington. He really brought Raven to life, I think, through his cards. Yep, there you go. Rob is saying Raven Cafe. Raven Cafe. And so when's the next time you're playing there, Rob? And so Philip Cargome, who is one of the authors, Stephanie and Philip Cargome, the words that they pair up with Raven is healing, initiation, and protection. Healing, initiation, and protection. He says that the card shows a raven perched on the bare winter branches of a beech tree that grows beside an ancient mound. This is the White Mount, in which is buried the head of Bran the Blessed, and on which in later times will be raised the Tower of London. So the hill in the background would eventually become the place of the Tower of London. All right. So Rob is playing in March 21st at the Raven Cafe. He's a solo act that weekend. And then the following month, April 5th, it's they're teaming up again. Julie Hedges and Rob Kendall will be playing at the Ravens Cafe. Yeah, I wish I lived closer. I'd go listen to you guys. So the author goes on to say that Bran offers initiation, protection, and the gift of prophecy. What is meant by initiation and practice may be as formal as actually undergoing the initiation ceremony, or as formal as, for example, being initiated into the mysteries of a new post or profession. It marks the death of one thing, which gives way to the birth of another. The power of the raven can also bring you the very deepest form of healing, which is achieved through a process known as the resolution of opposites, giving you the possibility of resolving conflicts that have long lain buried in your unconsciousness or perhaps in your past. So when I was looking at this card this morning, because this is the second time that we've received this card, and so I was thinking and talking to my team and saying, okay, so what have we done either not covered with the raven, or what would you like us to take deeper, since we've visited with raven before? And there was another card that came. Okay, just don't want to lose my place with the raven. The second card that came was bear. In Gaelic art, wait, I want to make sure I'm pronouncing that right. It's only good that they include a pronunciation guide. Bear, arsht. It's spelled A-R-T, but it's pronounced arsht in Gaelic, bear. And the authors, the words that they pair with arsht is primal power, sovereignty, intuition married with instinct. Okay. And we also know that bear is also very protective over their children, especially a mama bear, right? Very protective. And the author it says about arsht is connects you with the very deepest of your ancestral roots. Here at this level, you are in touch with the primal mother, the bear goddess, Arsho, who will defend you fiercely from all danger. You are connected also with the bear god Ardos, that mighty warrior Arthur, and the guiding pole star of the great bear. Your intuition will never fail you, if you will listen to it in the still darkness of the night. Working with the bear gives you the opportunity to become a spiritual warrior. You can find the way to come into your power by marrying your strength with your intuition. Okay? So the second card always supports the first one, right? All right. So with this one, when I read that part about the resolution of the opposites, and that raven is about healing and initiation and protection. He's taking us deeper because raven is a messenger to the underworld or to the other world and brings back information. So I truly believe that we're taking the nudge for the healing piece deeper. Okay, deeper. So he says that the power of the raven can also bring you the very deepest form of healing, which is achieved through the process known as the resolution of opposites. The resolution of opposites, giving you the possibility of resolving conflicts that have lain buried in your unconscious or perhaps in your past. So if you have a conflict either within yourself or perhaps with another two-legged, that you have the opportunity to allow it to float to the surface so that you can take another look at it and see what is ready to be healed and what is ready to be released and let go, right? And, we've said this for I don't know how many shows, that when we face our deepest fear, we're realizing our deepest desire when we have walked through that healing process. And it's entirely possible that that whatever that is that you're healing is on a very deep level now, that when you've worked your way through it, and you're on the other side of it, that you can realize the kind of initiation that you just went through. It may not be that formal initiation like, when you graduate from school, right? Because that's an initiation. Or how you might think about initiations in a mystery school, where you have an elaborate ceremony, right? This kind of initiation may be more informal, and it's really between you and the creator, or you, the creator, and maybe a few close friends or family. But being able to go to the depth, at the core, at the primal core, and that's what Bear is bringing us, right? The primal mother, going all the way to the roots of it. So it might be in this lifetime for you, but what if you're healing ancestral something, right? An ancestral something that perhaps it was a part of your soul contract here, that you have the opportunity to end a cycle, a negative cycle within your lineage. That you have an opportunity to do a great blessing for your ancestors and for your descendants, including yourself, right? That's what came to me this morning. So, how many people in the live chat here in our audience feel that they've been either submersed in the deep end of the pool and trying to figure out, why am I in the deep end of the pool, or why, and that you're experiencing a deep healing, right? A deep healing. Yeah. Okay, so Rob is asking, do you hunt bear? Is that rhetorical? or is that literal? I'm going to take it as literal first, okay? And I no longer hunt. I did when I was younger, and that was deer, when I was like 16, 17, 18, something like that. I've never hunted bear, but Paul has. And I actually have a bear downstairs, the hide, the fur. And it's, when I had my office downstairs, it literally sat at my back. And so it was protection for me. Yeah, for the kind of work that I was doing when we first moved here, right? And so that kind of hunting. Now, if we're talking about it in a spiritual sense, is searching for the medicine of bear and what that kind of medicine can do for us. All we have to do is call, right? Or have them come in a dream and show us what it is that they can help us with. Yeah. He says, I can't, the bushes tickle me. I don't know about that. Esperanza says, hi, Neshi. Hi, Esperanza. It's good to have you here. And Laura's here too. Laura, yep, Laura is good. And Kimberly saying yes, and Laura, that's what Laura is replying back to. And Dawn says, yes, a lot of old stuff coming up. And astrologically, and I wish Julie was here because she could add to this and add her expertise and her knowledge about this. But I know that astrologically, cosmically, we've had the planets, the stars, helping us immensely in releasing and healing. In the last how many full moons, new moons, lunar eclipses, it's been pretty intense. And so we have all of this help, all of the universe literally supporting us in our soul growth, right? And sometimes all it is that what we have to do is call on them for that help, helping us to see with clarity or sense with clarity. What is it that's really going on here? Especially when you don't know, you know what I mean? When you're right in the middle of something and you're going, what is this? Or I thought I healed that. I thought I already did that. And now here we are back at the same or similar situation. So what is that about, right? And then you start second guessing yourself or doubting yourself in what you healed before and thinking, okay, I guess what I did didn't work. And generally speaking, most times, whatever you did before did heal an aspect. But we have 4 bodies, at least 4. We have the emotional, the mental, the physical, right? And the spiritual bodies. And so for a healing to be complete, we have to move through all 4 bodies to heal those. And so with this particular card, Raven, and having Bear back up that card, Essence of Raven, I really feel like we're going deep and we're going to the root of a situation, a life lesson that has begun coming around. All right, so it's possible that you are working on the root situation of whatever that is, right? And that we have the protection of both Raven and Bear as we're doing this. And calling on them to one is to protect us as we go deep, and to ask Raven to help bring back that information, to help you. Yeah. And Bear is helping us get to the root. Mm-hmm. Yeah. In fact, I was on a call last night, and part of the discussion was about, family members who have walked on, right? And the grieving process, and how that grieving process has no formal kind of structure to it. It ebbs and it flows, and eventually you begin to, I'm not sure if acceptance is a real word with that, but you start to experience it differently as time goes on, right? That the grief is still there, but you might be experiencing it differently, not quite as raw, right? And so that's what we were talking about. And so many times when we have relatives who have crossed over, who has walked on, part of their parting gift to us sometimes is the opportunity to heal something within our lineage. Yeah. Because a lot of times they can awaken memories that we haven't thought about in a really long time. Yeah. Yeah. And, Minnie Kansman, who's a live stream show host here, and she's also for Star Nations, she's also a contributing writer to the magazine. We just published a book for her 2 years ago. Gosh, it's been 2 years already. Missing Nana. And Missing Nana is a book that she actually wrote for children as a support as they work through grief. Okay. And that the natured spirits can actually help us work through grief. And that's the essence of her book. And I realized this morning when I was thinking about the conversation that I was in last night, is that when we're grieving for somebody, many times in that experience of that grief, because we're so raw with it, depending on who it was that walked on, right? That we have the opportunity at that time to reach back into the past, whether it's our own past or the past of that relative, and to ask our allies, our helpers, to help us to understand aspects of the family that we Maybe we just found something out, because that generations, a few generations ago, like my mom's generation, man, did they have the secrets, and sometimes it's in the passing of a relative that some of those secrets tend to come to the surface. And you're going, what? I didn't know that. How come I didn't know that? Why didn't we ever talk about that? Yeah. And so we have the opportunity that lays in front of us as we work through the grief to heal and to release other things that may come up through that healing process, right? And isn't Raven is actually associated with death too, right? I think. Let me double check here. Because the reverse sometimes message is helpful to understand something that is coming for us to know about for today, right? So in the reverse, it says this card suggests that you should become aware of the forces of destruction that exists in your life and in the world. However, much we might wish that destruction did not occur. We know that without destruction, there cannot be construction and recreation. The raven speaks of the knowledge of the dark and difficult aspects of life, which it is hard for us to understand. Sometimes we or our lives must go through a process of disintegration and darkness in order to emerge into the greater light of the new morning. To an extent, our fear of the dark is worse than whatever it is that we find there. Drawing this card reversed may mean that we can now come to terms with our own destructiveness, a rage that has perhaps been buried for years, knowing that we have the protection of the goddess. Deeper still, it may mean that we can come to a resolution of the conflict of opposites, experiencing the reality that in darkness there is light, and in light, darkness. Yeah, I'm feeling that with the two cards, Raven and Bear, is that we have the opportunity to really go deep and go to the root of whatever it is that we're experiencing, right? So what could that be for you that you're experiencing? Because even though, the emotions around it might be really difficult, because a lot of times we don't express those really raw emotions with others, right? We might express them in a way when we're alone, when we do our rant or our ugly cry. And especially of situations that we just can't find the logic. Our mental mind is searching for the logic of it, and it's not there. And we try to put it into that experience or that event. We try to put it into little boxes that make sense, right? And many times it doesn't fit, and we're not sure exactly what to do with it, where to go with it, where to put it. And so feeling the emotions around it, instead of feeling it, we repress it or suppress it. We try to ignore it. But if we're going deep, if we're going to the root of it, shining our light in the darkness, right? And where does that come from? It comes from our heart. And I know when we're right in the middle of it, compassion and empathy is kind of hard to grab hold of, because sometimes we're right in the middle of wanting to be right. Yeah, especially if we've uncovered something that it just shocks us, and let me tell you, sometimes especially if you're grieving the loss of a loved one, sometimes when their secrets come to the light, it can be, it can be hard to take sometimes. Yeah. I was just thinking about one of his aunts that passed away. This is a few years ago. Um, she was one of the aunts that she was hard work. That's what the Irish would call her, hard work. She had a personality that she was hard to get along with, and some of the things that came out around her passing, it was like, what? Didn't know that. When did that happen? And so Paul was kind of going through those kinds of surprises, those surprises being revealed. Yeah. It's funny how those older generations, right? How much they tried to hide. So asking the audience, is how is this resonating with you? How does it feel? These two cards, and I should probably show them together, right? Why don't we do that? Got to mark my spot here. Going to show them together. Go this way. So they're kind of looking at each other. So there's more than one path up the mountain. There's more than one way to get where you want to go. Take the path that resonates with you, that feels the best to you. That Raven's here to be able to help us through that initiation, that walking through the darkness, healing something that's been around for a while, conflict maybe, or the opposites. And Bear is about the primordial mother, going deep, going to the very beginnings, the root of a situation. And actually, both of them are protecting us as we go through this. And Raven being able to bring back information from the other world, from different dimensions, different realms. So if we have a situation that we just really don't understand it, and we're trying to get to the root of it so that we can heal it and release it, Raven can help us do that, while Bear is helping us to get to the root and to protect us as we go through it. Yeah. When we look at the cards together like this, right, is that we can use our intuition, our senses, sensing, feeling, seeing, how they can assist us, right? And with the bear, if we take a look, there's things in front of him. There's a crown and there's a rattle. We've got tools. And that crown reminds me that if we can just hang in there, and we can achieve what we're trying to heal. Yeah. Okay. Laura is saying, this hits hard for me. Last year, you drew a card for me. It was Raven. Later in June, I lost the fight and my son died. I won't clog the feed. I wish we could speak. Well, we can do that, Laura. We can do that. Yeah, we can do a private message and we can set something up, okay? All right. And Dawn says, thank you. This is really resonates. I have to go pick up my son from school. Thank you. You're welcome, Dawn. Safe travels, okay? Thank you for being here. Yeah, learning about our life lessons and the things that we go through. Man, sometimes when we're right in the middle of them, we just don't understand why. Why do I have to go through this? Why would I choose this? And yet we have, right? And I don't know, my personal experience is every single time that I've ever resisted, dug my heels in and saying, no, I'm not going to do that, or, is when I've made it harder, 10 times harder on myself than it needed to be. And once I surrendered to spirit and said, okay, all right, let's do this then. What's the best way I can get this done? I want it to be as graceful and as painless as possible. And this is after I've already been through how many months of emotional pain, right? Or even mental pain. All the gyrations we do with those mental thoughts. But we have help. We have help. And these two came to us today to say they're here if we would only call on them. Call on the medicine of Raven to help you to understand, to travel to those depths, to look at what needs to be looked at. Healed. It's about healing. And Bear has our back. Protection. As we go to that primordial center, the beginning of whatever issue that you're dealing with, to finally have it, to finally have the opportunity to either heal it or to release it. And as I say this, I've got ringing in my ear, it's like, okay, all right. So let me check in with my team. What is it? Why are you ringing my ears? So we're never alone. Never. We're never alone. Spirit is always right there with us. Our spiritual team, every step of the way, every inch of the way. Because they can't go through it for us. Because they're not the ones that are experiencing this physical life. We are. But they can help us. They can help us. But we have to ask them. Just as hard as it is for us to go through it, it's hard for them to watch us struggle with it. Their hearts go out to us and, they say they're wanting us to ask. They're wanting us to ask for the help. Show me how I can get through this better. What is it that I'm here to learn through this? What is my role in this? How can I do this as gracefully as possible? As thoroughly as possible? and give up the ideas of that it's going to take how much time. It's going to take what it takes. And if we can get out of our own way, in other words, our mental mind can shush for a little bit, that it could go smoother and quicker if we're in the flow. Yeah. And there's a reminder that when we go to the root of something, that it has a cascading or a domino effect. That sometimes the roots are so deep that it affects other aspects of our life. And sometimes we don't even know it. And so when we heal and release at the root of something, that we're actually removing interferences and barriers to other aspects of our lives. And so that's why they're showing me this cascading or domino effect, that when we heal or release something at the root, we're literally shifting and changing a lot of other things in our lives. And sometimes we don't recognize that until well after the fact. Yeah, because one day you'll see something or somebody will say something to you, and you'll sit back and you'll say, man, it wasn't too long ago if I would have seen or heard that, I would have been, in a deep depression, or I would have been angry, or it would have made me cry. And now, there's nothing. It's I recognize it, but I don't have the usual response. That's when we know. That's when we know when we've healed it and let it go. Yeah. I don't know. Have you guys ever experienced that? I have. Because I was diligently trying to heal and release a family thing. I have an aunt who hasn't talked to me in years, because I make drums, right? She doesn't agree with that. And she was always saying things to my mom, poking at it. And whenever my mother would tell me about it, I would just get angry. It's like, wow, if she has something to say, why can't she say it to me? Kind of thing. But it took me years, and it took going into Sweat Lodge and healing it, different aspects of it. And then one day my mom shared something with me, and it was like, I don't have a response to that. Where in the old days, it would have made me angry, or, I would have thought, okay, now what am I going to do with this now, right? It would have made me angry. And it was nothing. I had asked to be able to love her like I did when I was a little girl. That's the kind of feeling I wanted in response to her, rather than the other. It took a while. But I had gotten to the point where there wasn't that raw kind of anger emotion around it, right? Yeah. I think this is Stephanie. Or is it Julie? I can't tell. Have to check the archives. Working hard today. Oh, this is Julie. Okay, yes, and we'll be singing 3 of them. April 5th with Rob, and such a super cool place, and I love the big water. Love to y'all. Okay, good. Thank you, Julie. Thank you. Yeah. So I'm looking at the time. It's near the top of the hour. So I really do believe this is the feeling I have anyway. This is the feeling I have that Raven came to us to let us know that we have help. That if we're facing something, a life lesson, a resolution of the opposites, some deep healing going on, that we have help to ask for Raven medicine to come so you can help. They can help understand, bring you information about what you're going through and how the best way to heal it and release it. Going deep. And Bear is helping us to go to the depths of the root of it, the primordial root. And that the Bear offers protection as we go through this. And that we do have the reward at the end of it. That crown has something to do with that reward. When we heal it at the root, it changes our lives. We shift and we change and we get closer even to our original vibration that we came in with. Yeah. It's a gift. It's a gift. All right. Well, if any of this resonated with you at all, my suggestion is to embrace those aspects that did resonate with you. And if anything didn't, that's okay. Just, let it go. That part wasn't for you. But anything that resonated with you, just to embrace it and then sense, see, feel how the energy of today is unfolding around you and where this information could be helpful. Perhaps in directly participating in something, or possibly you're a witness to it. Because either way, we're learning something from it, right? Yeah. And we must be ready. We must be ready to do this kind of deep healing, this deep cleaning, Otherwise, the information wouldn't have been brought to us, right? Yeah. And to remember to ask for their help is to call on Raven Medicine and Bear Medicine. Call on your spiritual team to assist you. And if it didn't resonate with you, please don't worry. It's okay. You're not going to hurt anyone's feelings by saying, that didn't resonate with me. There's always tomorrow. There's always the cards for tomorrow. Yeah. So hopefully you'll be able to come back and join me this evening at 8 p.m. Eastern Time for Communications from Home. It's the last Tuesday of the month. That means that we're doing the Unity Breath Meditation. It's a guided meditation. It's based on ancient information, and it's all about love. It's all about love. And so the guided meditation will certainly raise your vibration, your frequency to the frequency of love. And that's 8 p.m. Eastern. Okay. Hopefully you'll be able to join me. And tomorrow, Polly Jo LeBay should be back for Soul Connections. And that's an evening of healing, divine healing and messages. There's a healing meditation. And if you're working on something that's going pretty deep, you might want to do that meditation. We bring in our own intentions for the healing or the releasing. We work with our own spiritual team. Polly Jo and her team, they hold a sacred space for us and assist our teams in helping us to heal or to release. Okay. It's a pretty powerful evening. And then she does card draws, individual cards, if you would like to have a mini reading. That's at 7 p.m. Eastern Time tomorrow, Wednesday night. Thursday is a jam-packed day. We start off at 10:30 in the morning with Spiritual Mysteries of Life with Connie Vaughter. And she is talking about love and compassion. I'm thinking about not doing a live stream on Thursday because I'll have produced 4 shows that day. And so I'm thinking maybe I might be kind to myself and not do the live stream, the afternoon live stream. But I'll let you know. And at 4 p.m. Eastern is Angel Therapy with Maureen Mann, and she is going to be sharing with us about mindfulness and the angels. And she's also doing a card reading toward the end of her show. And then at 8 p.m. Eastern on Thursday night is the Mystery School with Orchard and Carl Franklin, and they are sharing with us about the earth and the sun. Yeah. So I told you, we got lots going on for you this week. Whole bunch. So with that, enjoy the rest of your Tuesday, and we'll see you back here tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern for the daily live stream and group card draw. And until Baba Mina, that's Potawatomi for until we see each other again. Love you guys.